All right, everyone, thank you for attending the webinar today. We are very excited to have Kathleen Diamond and Scott Bass with us for the Launch Your 2023 Internship Program with ALC Bridge. I'd like to thank ALC sponsors Language Line Solutions. We also have our platinum sponsors, Certified Languages International, Translation Back Office, and Multilingual Technologies. Our gold and silver sponsors for 2022. We also want to remind everyone that our fourth quarter new member cohort meeting is coming up on November 2nd. Mariana is going to be able to put in the chat a link so that you can sign up for that. We're excited to be able to come to the end of our first year with these members. We also have another session coming up on November 8th, and that is for mergers and acquisitions. Are you thinking of moving on? A seller's perspective when exiting your business. So I want to encourage everyone to sign up for that, and Mariana will as well put that in the chat. Just a reminder that there is an antitrust policy statement we'll read at the beginning of every meeting, and it is that it is and shall remain the policy of the Association of Language Companies and the responsibility of every ALC member company to comply in all respects with federal and state antitrust laws. No activity, discussion at any ALC meeting or other function may be engaged in for the purpose of bringing about any understanding or agreement among members to raise, lower, or stabilize prices, regulate production, allocate markets, encourage boycotts, foster unfair or deceptive trade practices, assist monopolization, or in any way violate or give the appearance of violating federal or state antitrust laws. Thank you for letting me read that, and welcome to an ALC Bridge webinar. Oh, Kathleen, I need you to unmute.
Are you ready for us to speak, Allison?
Yes, please.
Good. We follow directions at ALC. It is, I can't tell you, I'm sort of nervous. But I see, oh, Craig, thank you for showing me your wonderful face. I'm now calm. I'm calm now. I'm calm. It is my great pleasure to join with Scott on this day to bring to you, ALC members, the work that we've put in place in response to your interest in internships expressed back in Chicago and repeated again in other meetings that we've had. This is a momentous time for us to be able to actually put to use this remarkable platform called ALC Bridge. It has, in addition to its normal URL, it has a job board. And it's a job board that has been underutilized, mainly because it's been sort of unknown. And we're going to put it to use as of today, going forward, with internships. And so during this particular webinar, we will talk to you about the how-tos, actually, if you're ready to take interns on, to post and get started. And for those of you who are thinking you'd like to learn how to do it, there'll be some tools for you as well. I need to tell you, you're my buddies, you're my colleagues, you're my comrades in arms, you're my everything. The other side of this bridge is the educators. We are the employers, and the bridge comes across to the academics for the benefit of students. The academics are on our case. They are ready. They are ready for us to have internships to send their students to apply for. We understand from speaking to some of our partners that they would love to see internships available in their spring semester, which is from January to May, and then of course summer as well. And we're looking for, a comfortable volume to start with. They understand that we're piloting these programs with them. But don't let me down, guys. We need companies on the other side, the employers on the bridge, on there, hosting and being ready to receive and work with interns who could possibly be future workforce for you. Scott has given generously of his time and his intellect and his incredible command of the ALC Bridge website. And he's going to present to you, I think, the easiest, most simple presentation of how to. Scott, take it over.
Thanks, Kathleen. Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody join today. Basically, what I'm going to do is just walk through the very simple process of how you actually get an internship posting up on the site through our YM Careers job board. That's our job board engine that drives ALC Bridge. It's a really robust tool, as Kathleen said, and we want to, start using it more to help you guys find talent. So my piece will go pretty quickly, and then we should have a lot of time for conversation at the end. So give me a thumbs up. Everybody seeing my screen okay? You should see a title slide, Accessing Internship Opportunities for LSCs. Okay, great. So I think for many, Bridge is not an unknown quantity in the ALC, but in short, it's a platform, but it's also a group of people trying to help you in your talent acquisition. And we're giving a special focus right now on internships because, as Kathleen said, we have a lot of institutions dying to get their students into internships. One thing to note here is the actual internships page. There is a dedicated page internships that will flash up here. And it's the place where students are going to end up. So we have a dedicated page for students to access internships. And that's really what we're talking about today is how do we post so they can easily find those internships in literally the matter of a few clicks. Okay, so for you guys, the most important thing is posting an internship. And you'll be doing that on the job board. So some of you have used the job board previously for other types of job searches or employee searches. This is the same process. The only difference is that how you're going to write your posting and what information you're going to be putting up. So for those who have never posted a job, take note, this is not just about internships, it's for any job posting. Okay, so quite simply, you're going to go to alcbridge.org and click on the job board link in the navigation. And quite simply, then next page, post a job. And to help manage expectations, yes, you're buying a posting for free. That's what this is about. The job board does offer paid listings. For internships, we're going to suggest you do a 30-day free posting. The only thing I'll mention about the 30-day free is that it does expire. We're currently working with YM Careers, the designers of the dashboard, to see if there are ways to easily extend this period. The default is 30 days. So the only thing I'll mention is that at the end of 30 days, you will have to repost. So that we're hoping to have a solution for that to make it easier in the future. But to get us started, we definitely would just recommend going for the free listing. You can also buy a paid listing or a boosted listing, which would extend its appearance time. So that is another option. But assuming people don't necessarily want to buy a paid listing, the 30-day free is the default. So on that page, you'll simply click buy. Don't worry, you're not going to be asked for your credit card information. All right. And simply, you're just going to click here to continue. There are a couple steps to getting the posting rolling. And then here's the, if you already have a login to ALC Bridge, then you'll simply use that login to continue, all right? So you may have a separate set of credentials for alcus.org and alcbridge.org. I know in my case, I have two separate sets of credentials. Some of you might have been smarter and synchronized your username and passwords to make it easier. But regardless, you have to have your alcbridge.org login at this point to continue. If you don't have a login, here's how you get, well, if you have one, here you'll just submit and use your full profile, good to go. If you don't have an ALC Bridge account, here's your chance to get one. And I do definitely recommend, regardless of what you do with postings, set up your ALC Bridge account. That'll make it easier in the future. So to get started, you would have already clicked on Join Bridge, or if you haven't, you'll click Join Bridge. You'll come up to this page, and you'll go ahead and select your member type: employer, company, educational institution, or ALC Bridge supporter. And then you'll set up your user login information, a username and organization name to get you started, and hit continue. And then you'll be asked to indicate a membership selection. You're not signing up for new membership here. ALC Bridge is part of your ALC membership. So if you have no affiliation, you can choose that for ALC Bridge. Again, now we're talking about ALC Bridge. If you're an active ALC member, just select that. And if you're an affiliate through ATA or ALEA, select either one of those. Okay. And then you'll continue with this selected membership. Or if you screw up, you can start over. All right, and just fill out all of your information for your profile. The more, the better. And then once you're done with that, you can post a job. All right. So at this point, as I said today, we're talking about posting internships. There's no difference between an internship and any other job. So again, we're really pushing ALC Bridge to help kick off this internship effort, a real campaign, as you will. But if you have other roles to fill in your company, we also strongly suggest you do use Bridge as well and get job postings up. Okay, so get that account, get the ALC Bridge login set up. It'll save you a lot of effort in the future. So now you can post a job. All right. Now, in terms of how to post an internship, I'll just give some tips here. All right. We want a complete job posting. All right. So the basics of the position, the job description, job requirements, job details, and location will all be information you'll need to provide, as well as contact information for whom you want an applicant to reach out to. All right. And we're even offering a starter for applications using our internship in a box, which I'll speak more about at the end. All right. So in applications, you choose to receive online applications and enter recipients in your organization who should be notified when an application is submitted. That's why the other contact information is important. You might be setting up the posting, but you might want someone in your talent management or HR to get a notification if an application's been put in. So make note of that you can have multiple recipients and applications. Once you have your posting ready, simply click preview. All right. And I didn't go into much detail on that page because it's a pretty standard form to fill out, relatively self-explanatory. More importantly is you have to make sure you complete your order once you've gotten your posting written. Sounds trite, but you'd be probably not very surprised when people forget to click this little button at the end to actually pull the trigger and submit the posting. So here it's again, you're not buying anything at this point. If you've gone for a free listing, you can just complete your order. You must click that button in order to proceed. Okay. So once you do that, you will get an email confirmation that it's been submitted. Definitely look out for that email. If you don't get the email, then I would suggest you reach out to Alice and her team to check on that. But I've tested it quite often and it works pretty seamlessly. So just for a quick overview, I have a sample. There is only one posting up on the under internships on the board. It's a sample one I posted. Hopefully it's a fairly good example of what you would need to do. Quite simply, this is the page that interns are going to see when they click that find an internship button on the student's page, on the student's resources page. Their search is pre-configured to automatically pull up all internships. So any that are posted. So this is the really critical point, and I know Kathleen will be beating this drum really hard over the coming weeks. We've got to get this populated with postings, or else it's going to fall on. It's just going to fall on deaf ears at the institutions. The academic institutions need places to send their students. They need postings to show them. So we have a big drive to get postings up there, and not just have a couple sample postings, the way we've been piloting this. Okay. So why is the job board and ALC Bridge of value to you? I think that's an important thing. You know, there's of course Indeed, who we're using all the time for all of our other paid positions and typical roles in our companies, and of course LinkedIn and other large job boards. But ALC Bridge is literally the only one dedicated to our industry. And it will probably be, as far as I know, probably the only one that will actually have internships posted. So that's really the thing. If, through our efforts to promote Bridge more and to gain more traction with academic institutions, it will hopefully also lead to better traction within the industry. Currently, right now, other entities do post jobs. If you send out a press release, and I know Slater's got their localization jobs, and these are all paid. These are all much more. They are obviously within the industry. They're highly selective, and they're not going to really take internships and things, and because most of us don't want to pay a lot to have an internship posting. So this is a really specialized board. It's easy to use. So for HR and talent management teams, it's not going to be a heavy lift to start using this as part of their tool set. You're getting all traffic via one standard channel with online applications and or emails. So not much different than the big guys, and very easy to interact with the prospects that way. And then, of course, communicate next steps with students. So the goal here is to get that introduction, that handoff done quickly, and you guys can take over and start, filling those internships. As for Bridge itself, as I mentioned, more cost-effective option. We're working with LCs to formalize and mature their internship programs. That's a big part of this. This isn't just about the logistics of getting postings done, but also helping you, draft more comprehensive listings, offer higher quality internship experiences, helping you better align with students' goals to lead to those good experiences, and then establish those all-important relationships with the academic partners. Because once you have one successful internship, I can guarantee you it'll lead to many more. Our job is to make that initial introduction and bridge that gap. So the real question is, are you guys ready? And this is where we jump off, hopefully, into a discussion. Kathleen, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, when we were in Chicago last year, and this came up when you were doing your soapbox for Bridge, we kind of pulled the room, and if I remember, probably about a third or so were actually actively engaged in internships, which was not a bad number. But then we asked how many would want to have an internship. It was well over, I'd say, 2/3 of the room.
You're exactly right, Scott. And this was reinforced with the language services industry survey this year as well. Mm-hmm. Thanks to Seamus, we were given a couple of extra questions, and thank you to Ginny about, well, what is your interest in internships? And so we've done this work with the faith in you that this is something that you want. We have built it. So now we want you to come.
Yes. And so here's the ask, right? For all of you attending who are, you self-selected, you've shown up at this webinar. So that means you're motivated, which is great. But the real ask is, you know, here are the hard things. Deciding what you want the intern to do. That is, I found for me, that was one of the hardest things. What the heck? It's nice to have an extra body around, but really, what am I going to do that's going to benefit my company, but above all, benefit that student, to really show them what a career in this field could look like. And then secondly, and this is even harder, who's going to do it? I know me as an owner, I did a fair amount of it, but I was always intimately involved in talent acquisition and training anyway. So in that regard, it's fairly easy lateral move just to get in the rhythm. Once I was set up doing it, after 1 or 2 cycles, it got very easy to get the interns onboarded. And I know, speaking from experience case in my company, we tackled internships relatively early before we hit a substantial growth phase in terms of adding new project managers and other staff. And we found having that internship forced us to improve our training capacity, because we realized, wow, we're going to be taking a young person who has really no idea or very little idea of what we do and train them up. In our case, it was project management and localization project management that we're training for. So we had a lot to train on. But besides the what, the who is really big. Last one is the where, just simply deciding, are you comfortable with remote internships, or do you really want someone on site? And of course, if it's on site, then the who and what become even more important, I would say, because you're going to have obviously not as much flexibility on your end. So in regard to resources, before I forget, there is we came up with this idea of internship in a box, which is a templated set of tools to help you get started. So a sample internship agreement, an intern training checklist, a task inventory sheet that gather all the tasks that you might want to assign to an intern, the actual application for an intern, and then just kind of a sample housing guidance thing, because housing is a big thing for many interns, especially obviously for on-site. And helping them with housing, it's the first thing students are asked, like, where do you think I should live? And just having a good answer ready is super helpful, and maybe a few resources in your area that you can direct them to. So we just give a sample of what you can offer, and all of that is downloadable in individually or all at once from the ALC Bridge website, and there's a link for that. So the challenge, I'll leave back to you, Kathleen.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I mean, I'm just so humbled by the work that you have done. It is just a beautiful, beautiful product.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and this is near and dear to my heart because it paid off in droves for my company, and I like to see it do the same for other members. So.
Well, and we're together on that. Back in the day when I was CEO of LLE, we had interns always, and the interns very often became key employees of our company as the years went on. So it's a great resource. And I'm standing along with the ALC Bridge Committee. We're standing right at the top of this beautiful bridge that we've built, because we're between the employers and the educators, so we get to see the whole picture, what's coming for us. These academic institutions are really truly excited. Scott and I and Allison met just yesterday or the day before, I'm losing track of the days, with the Rutgers Newark program. And she said that they will probably be looking for 10 to 15 interns per semester. And that's a nice, comfortable number. And she said that she knows her students will be open to just being introduced to our industry. So if we have internships, even working in, sales or project management or, back behind the scenes, students will be interested. So I think that we're ready now to bring the bridge together, to bring the E's and the E's together and get started. So I think what I'd like to do now, Scott, is to ask for participation from our wonderful audience. So
That sounds great.
let's hear from you. Don't be shy, because
Who's ready to sign on the dotted line? I guess that's a real question.
So I've got a big question. This is Richard with Magnus here.
Hey, Richard.
Hey there, Scott. Hi, Kathleen.
Hey.
One of the questions that I've been wondering about for many years, and we've never done an internship in the past, and I've read in the news, people flaming companies that have internships but don't pay them a good wage. And I'm wondering if there's been any discussion with the educators about what's the expectation? What's going to, do we have to put money out there?
Great question.
Yes, it's a great question, Richard, and we've been thinking the same way you think. And if it's a paid, there are two different kinds of internships. There are internships for credit, and then there are those that are paid. And if it's a paid internship, you open up your wallet. We are a profession. And that's the message that we're sending, and we will pay our interns properly. And what you decide, I mean, I can't give you a number, but our mission is paid internships are paid internships, not a buck here or there.
Okay. So the expectation that the students are having when they come to this site, is this going to be a paid internship with a substantial salary? How should we approach this?
I don't think we can talk numbers. I mean, I think you have to, whatever you think, I mean, whatever you would offer your paid internship, a proper, professional.
I think to my general approach was to, they are going to be W-2. They're going to be paid for that work. I would never expect to pay, in my case, let's say it's a project manager or something on the project manager line. A lot of it is tied to what they're going to do, but they would never get more than what I would pay an entry-level person, and usually substantially less. It's definitely more than just a stipend, but I wouldn't expect, the equivalent of a starting salary. I don't think that's realistic, nor expected. I do think many do expect it to be paid, but it does come down to the individual. I've met many highly enthusiastic students who are glad not to be paid. But I found, like anything else, you get what you pay for. If you're going to give it away, you're not really going to attract. And the problem is that we're also competing in the information industry against a lot of other big companies that will pay internships. So, but yours is a really good question. I should add that to the ask list, ponying up a few bucks, don't expect anything good for free type of thing. It is an investment of time and resources, including some capital, to make sure it's going to be successful.
I see a couple of hands up. If we could take a couple questions. Ginny, please.
Hi. I was just going to kind of follow up on the previous question and the discussion. In my experience, students who are coming from universities and are looking for internship for credit, I'm not even sure if they can get paid because it is to get credit. If they're coming over to post credits and they don't need a credit for their education, and they're coming just to get personal enrichment, learn the craft, get into the industry, then it really is up to the individual. And we've done both free and paid.
Yes.
I think the other aspect of it is what you can do when your intern is unpaid versus when the intern is paid. Those tasks will also vary.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Thank you, Ginny. I see that Karen and Sylvia. Karen, you go first.
Yeah, I believe there are some legal issues involved state by state. District of Columbia requires internships be paid. So I think you need to check with each state to see what the requirements are, because there's been a lot of exploitation of internships. So we pay a pretty good hourly wage for our interns, and both of them are college students, but they're doing our social media, but they're not doing it for credit.
Right.
So
Right.
you really need to check on that.
Yeah. If I had to make one blanket, for like national recommendation, I would definitely say, yeah, they should be W-2. And if they have to pick between, I don't know, being a barista and doing your internship, I think that's the answer of where you should make the pay fall.
Thank you, Scott. Sylvia?
Thanks, Kathleen. We've had interns for years, and it's been a really wonderful program. It was started and encouraged by our CEO. We regularly have internships for recruiting, written translations department, and also IT. And we would be happy to start to post those on the Bridge website. And I got some more ideas from this presentation as far as other types of internships, like for example, in sales. Richard, we recently had an applicant. She didn't end up working with us, but it was the first time I had heard someone say, "Oh, I don't need to be paid." That was a conundrum for us. We're in Virginia, and we have always paid our interns. And I just want to mention one more thing, but we will definitely sign up. And I'm looking forward to look at the resource, the internship in a box, to see what you have there. I'll make one comment. Like I said, our company's in Virginia. We're in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. And I was advised by a contact we have with the Virginia Employment Commission, because as much as we've thought about having interns who do interpreting, but I was sort of alerted or warned as far as not to have W-2s that are doing the same work as our freelance interpreters.
That's a really good point.
So that was a good sort of caveat. I don't know if there's a way around it or to make it different, but I think working inside the company, they'll learn plenty about interpretation also. And we have an education department. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so great. What is your
Good
company,
comment.
Sylvia?
I'm with Liberty Language Services.
Oh, wonderful. Good. That's great. Glad to see you.
Thanks.
Michael, may I call on you, please? Hi, how are you,
Yes.
Michael?
Hi, how's it going? Michael Termina with Language Lens Solutions. Has there been any discussions around also combining this with capping projects? A lot of seniors have to do their capstone or capping projects, which might extend the time that they would be available beyond just a typical summer internship. So I wasn't sure if we had looked at any of those options.
That's a great question. Surprisingly, that didn't come up on the academic side at all. I don't remember hearing about that at all, but that's a really great question, because a lot of programs do have that kind of capstone, a senior project, and an internship is often a great way to fulfill that. So,
Well,
Okay.
we can certainly find out, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
So what that would mean is that's when you actually are like a senior project.
Correct. It's like a senior project. I know I have a son, senior at college in New York, and one here that I think he spent an entire semester basically working for an organization, not full time, but to do his capstone project. And it had to be, that portion had to be free. So I was thinking if you were combining it with pay and potentially a little bit longer to complete a capstone project, it would help students because they need that to graduate. And sometimes with having two sons who are in college, finding someone who will do a meaningful project is difficult for the students. So if you gave them both, they might be much more interested when they could combine internship with potential internship credit they can get and pay, and their capping project so that they can graduate.
interesting. Yeah, we'll have to ask about that, because I haven't heard many any programs requiring it, at least in the translation studies area. So, and if you think actually translation studies would be a natural place to have a capstone project, many do have, kind of senior projects. I know Kent does have senior projects for the translation, for actual actual translators. I was going to say that one thing that did come up recently, I think it was on the Rutgers call, they have a summer program for internships. It's an accelerated, like 5-week accredited internship program, but 5 weeks is kind of short for many of us. I know in my case, we always ran 12-week internships. So in that case, the director of that program said, yeah, a hybrid type opportunity where the first 5 weeks would be unpaid as part of their accredited course, and then a remainder paid internship would be another option. So there are ways to get creative with this to make it work for them and also work for you.
Great. Any other questions, comments? Craig, do you want to share any? Why? Oh, yeah, Christina. Excuse me, Craig, I just cut you off. Christina, you have a question?
Hi, thank you, Kathleen. No, well, more than a question is, I'll let you know a little bit of our experience. We are from Barbie International, and as you know, we have an office in Guatemala, Spain, and US. So we also have this experience of internships. As you said, Kathleen, we have the opportunity of those interns become employees. Sorry about the little baby yelling.
You have an intern crying already.
Oh, she's frozen, I think.
Here's my little internship. Oh, sorry
There you go.
about this interruption. So as I was saying, these interns have become employees for IBF for now, and we have had this both experience. Richard, just commenting your question, we have experienced the internship with pay and without pay. The experience with pay is of course because we are looking forward to hire this intern, and the without pay is because they have reached us or they have searched Barbier, become interns for Barbier because they need the credits for to graduate, right? So I just wanted to share our experience. I think as Jeannie said, it is important to have these payment chip offer. Of course, it would be great because they are students, so they need that little push to look forward to learn and also to be economically independent, right?
Thank you so much, and give that baby a good hug now. Okay, Craig, are you ready to give us some of your experience?
I love interns. I want this to be a success. I want everyone to join. I think interns are just the backbone of everything that's been good for us. Some of our longest standing employees have been interns that we've worked with over years. We've always paid our interns a little bit below whatever the entry level position is. You want some place to go, but not far off. We're not talking minimum wage over here. They're in line and they're in a position, and it's part of our progression. Our pyramid of hiring and moving up a progression starts at that lower level. If we get people, at a junior level, that's great too. But I try and get all my interns to not go back to school and keep working with us. So I'd love to. My biggest problem is they go back. They go back and then they come back for the summers. They come for the breaks. I'm like, how do we get you out of school? Let's get into the workforce. I swear we'll make this work better. But no, I swear by it. I think they're just the most loyal. They're the hardest working, and they set a great example. They just come with a lot less.
Can you describe the scope that you've done? Have you done all like in production related roles, or have you done in other types of administrative? I've done it in marketing.
I've done it in all different roles for my company. I've done it on the project management side for translation. I've done it on the interpreting side. I've done it on the finance side. I've had some blended roles. I'll call them like operational support specialists, with a gear towards either maybe contracts and interpreting or recruiting and interpreting. It really depends on which departments need it. And I try and get these people to bridge between multiple departments. A lot of times I find where my inefficiencies are, departments aren't talking to each other. And these are great people to learn processes, learn about what's going on, and be almost like the pass between to help two standing units. And again, they get to see different and experience different parts of what our business is in case they find that their desire within the company is within one side or the other. I love to float them around as much as possible.
That's great. That's really awesome.
You're the best, Craig. If only I could just take you and put you in enthusiasm for internship.
Give you your own soapbox. Yeah, I think the one thing I want to mention too is where we used interns a lot was research. I mean, they're in college, right? They've learned how to research things. And if we didn't have time, my production team wanted to know more about it. Could have been data about what we do. It could be data about the industry that we couldn't find anywhere. It could be benchmarking tools or processes, doing time studies. These are things that they tend to require some of the academic skill and organization that they've learned, right? And they might come with the requisite math skills and research skills to help you get that stuff done. So that's one area where I know it was always great to have an intern. Like, I didn't know this, find it out. And I can just hand it to them. A week later, I have the answer. So that was one area we really love to have interns.
Thank you. Anya, we'd like to have your question.
Yeah, sure. So just a quick comment here from Language and Solutions. We do have interns. I've started with the company 6 years ago, and since I started, we championed a local university here, which is the California State University in Monterey Bay, beautiful Monterey. And so most of our interns have been locals who are essentially, they're here for the summer. And we had some really great successes. I just want to kind of share that. Whether they entered for sales, marketing, IT, product management as well. And so, and some of those, I believe there's a couple of those folks that eventually came back after the senior year, and we hired them full time. So it is a great opportunity not only to give all these folks, these students, opportunity to work in the corporate environment, and also eventually having to hire them as full-time, or really kind of cast our net wider for some of those folks that they know, or in the lower years, perhaps either freshman or sophomore, to kind of really spread the word that we are an employer of choice, that we do champion this fantastic opportunity for interns. So we're very happy that we do participate, and we are looking forward to partnering with this initiative.
You've made our day. We'll just keep working for you, and luckily for you, the Winnie Hay is on the ALC Bridge committee, and she's of course with Middlebury at Monterey, and she will be one of the active. We're going to partner. We're going to find companies and educators, institutions that will really just sort of pilot promise that for 6 months they'll live with us, so we can get it really going and started for everybody. So thank you, Anya. Michael, another question?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, another quick suggestion is also that a lot of colleges are now requiring global studies units, that where you can you either have to go overseas, or you're required to take classes within global studies. So we might be able to, that's another niche that this could fill. If you were doing an internship and you fill out the paperwork properly, they can actually get units not only towards internships where sometimes it's required, but towards their global studies requirements. And also you might be able to pull in other internships that the individuals might not think typically going to the site, but they would be drawn in if they worked with colleges to know, oh, I could come here, apply for an internship with a language company. And if their college would then say, we'll let that cover your global studies units, because not everyone, can go overseas, even that's an option. So just another suggestion.
Fabulous. And yes, global studies has come up in our discussions with the numerous partners that we're partnering with. And that's a great idea, Michael. We need to sort of put it more in front of people. Global studies internships, fabulous. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Don't be afraid. I told you I was nervous at the beginning, but now I'm calmed down. So now you can get nervous and come to the mic. Madam President, do you have any comments?
A little slow to the take on the, unmuting myself, but thank
Did
you so
forget
much
you were our
everybody.
president?
Huh?
Did you forget you were our president?
No, I didn't forget that. I just didn't, I wanted to unmute myself. And I just want to say a big shout out to Kathleen and Scott. You both have worked so hard on this. Craig, you've worked hard on this. A big thank you for this presentation. I am one that has been able to see some of the behind the scenes work that's been happening. I'm delighted to say that we've got some peers of ours that are also super excited about this, other associations that are really excited about this effort. We were just at ATA, Kathleen and I were, and we met many universities who are hungry, really wanting to participate. We are in the process of getting this kind of a presentation for all of them, but right now we need companies. So we've got the enthusiasm, the thrill from the schools. They are all in. I mean, all in. And we just need to continue to spread the word to get our members and our industry on board with Bridge as well. So a big congratulations. This has really come such a long way from, it's had a lot of different journeys along the way, but I think Craig has expressed a bit about his experience with not only the interns, but he's also been the person who's been doing a lot of big testing in this on our software platform here. So we just need to continue to really spread the word to the companies, encourage companies to share, let them know that this is our moment. This is the time we are now needed. And this is moving quite quickly at this point. And so we want to make sure that we're absolutely posting these internship jobs and those kinds of things. And if you have any questions about how to have an internship, have an intern, or how to, maybe structure things, please reach out to resources. We've got several that are here. Scott is a great one. Craig's a great one. Kathleen's a great one. I'm a great one. Randy Morgan has got experience. There's a bunch of us. So please utilize the resources. If you don't know, Christina, sounded like you had a lot of experience too. So, let's utilize each other and let's continue to spread the word within our industry, because this is becoming an industry opportunity, not just for ALC. But it is the moment for companies to really post those internships. So now we need you to do that. We need those internship positions to be posted. So congratulations, Kathleen and Scott and Craig, and I'll turn the floor back to you.
Thank you so much, Susan. And I should announce to the assembled that Susan went to the University of New Mexico, and she is in conversation with folks there about whether they would like to partner with us and send us some students for the internships that we're going to be posting. And I thank you so much, Susan, for that. This has taken not even a village, this has taken a doggone city, a metropolitan area to put together. Everybody has to play for it to work. Yes, Richard.
And make sure you see Craig. He was going to speak earlier, he doesn't have his hand up. So just make sure you see him.
I'd like to suggest there's a relatively small number of participants in this meeting. When we consider that the ALC has 200 members or so, and the world, the globe, has many times that number of participants in the industry. As I said, we've previously not had an internship program, and I have to admit it's a bit daunting, because I look at all the things we do right now and how busy we are, and the thought of bringing somebody in And then adding that to the workload is daunting. Now, there have been some wonderful examples recounting today about the benefits of having an internship. And there's also been a few comments like, I asked about the money early on and someone said, well, wait a second, maybe we can't do W-2, maybe this. I would suggest that we cast an extremely broad net and set an expectation that internships may or may not be compensated. They may be structured differently. They may have different roles. So that it's really broad. Let the market decide what the internship looks like. If we have 1,000 internships and 900 of them are unpaid, well, I can tell you that the students who are looking for a paid one that need the money are going to gravitate in a certain direction. They will go to where the market is. And then as people do have some experiences, maybe with an unpaid intern, they start to recognize value and they say, hey, I do want to pay for the internship. So I think what I'm saying is, again, I'm leaning on my economist background, let the market decide what the compensation is. Clearly, there should be some guidances about expectations and the laws, and people don't want to get flamed because they didn't offer some compensation. But I think still at the end of the day, let the market decide. If someone does get flamed, they will share their experiences and our program becomes more seasoned and more experienced. That's my thought.
Thank you very much, Richard. And yeah, I mean, what we're looking for is the market. So let's get the market going and work together on this. But I agree with what you're saying. Jenny?
I'm just wondering how the information about additional opportunities, let's say new universities or colleges, their requirements, if it is for credit, if it is not for credit, how will all of that be available to whoever is interested in posting an internship? Because I think it has to be a two-way street communication.
Jenny, you're absolutely right. And because I'm sitting amongst friends, we are a volunteer operation right now. And so we can only do what we can do at this moment. But you are right. The platform is structured so that if it's properly managed, it will function on its own. The educators will come in on their side, do what they have to do, post their programs, and then the employers will come on their side and ask for the internship. I mean, the students. Right now, we're kind of doing it all. And we're doing it very poorly because it's a huge task. Richard, you had said at the very beginning that it was going to be a slog, and a slog it is. So your concept, your idea is absolutely perfect. All I can suggest is, as you're talking to institutions where you know there are programs, start by asking them to come on our website and to post it on the very homepage. At the bottom of the homepage, it says, post your program. So the platform is ready. We need the minions now to start making it populated. I'm sorry if it's not, I can't give you a better, yes, ma'am, I'll take care of it.
That's fine. We'll have to do it together.
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, it's on the homepage. You scroll down and it says, post your program. And what's in there now is the huge list that Chris Carter and some of us early on the committee just sort of put in. It's not meant. We do not have a website manager. We do not have someone who's paid to keep an eye and keep us current, keep us up to date. So it's we're not after the university saying update your stuff. But every time I talk to someone, I say, would you please just go in and update your stuff? Other thoughts, comments?
I think Craig did want to say something earlier. I don't know if the moment has passed, but you might want to check.
Nothing else, just a thank you to both of you for putting this together and keeping us moving. That's it.
Well,
I don't think anything's been done poorly.
Okay, we only have 5 minutes to go. We have an absolute hard stop at 1. last opportunity for anybody to make a comment, give us something to do, give us more work.
Well, and I think too, if if you're a graduate from a university, please connect with Kathleen. Because we want to make sure that we're also including your universities as well. So it's fun when your school is participating. So I can speak on that personally, because mine is just over the top, really excited, and you never know when it's going to be your school that's going to be that one. So please, we want to keep resources moving. We want to keep adding. And again, please invite other companies. If each one of us grab 5 more companies to come in and join this effort, then we're going to have a huge amount. But we also do have other associations. We haven't given our presentation to them, but they are already in, and we've got, we just want to make sure that they also have the invitation. So we're sort of on tour at the moment. And so this is going to continue to grow over time. So you may see a small amount of us now, but surely there's going to be many more at the next one. And you may or may not have been invited to that event because it might have been something in Europe, or it might be something for universities or something. So we are definitely on tour. So do keep your eyes and ears open, and promote it big time.
Thank you, Susan. And next steps, Ginny, is we will be reaching out to a handful of you to ask if you'll commit to the 6 months. We have to at least get some stability of 6 companies and 6 academic institutions to test, to pilot, and to make sure that we can do this. So stay tuned. You might be hearing from me whether you want to or not.
Kathleen, make sure you see the question from Richard asking if there's a 1-pager for the program.
A 1-pager for this program?
Yes, his question says, do we have a 1-pager
Yeah, I see it.
describing or promoting the internship program?
Well, do we? I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
I think we need a cell sheet. I think we have to put a cell sheet together.
I'm looking for a volunteer to work with me on this. If we don't have one, I'll be glad to work with someone, but I don't want to do it on my own. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
Clearly, someone to bounce ideas off, we can put it together fairly quickly.
So I guess we have the content. What you want is 1 page, what an internship program is, for whom?
I think
part, the educator. See, because what we're doing, Richard, is we're now going out, we're talking to companies and we're talking to educators. We're both, employers, educators, both are going to get a separate slide deck. So what marketing sheet would you like to see?
I'm thinking that I'd like to have something that I can email over to some career placement officers. Honestly, if we get it to a Spanish professor at a school, they're probably going to be sharing it with other people.
Right.
They can share it with their students. Something short, a slide deck. I'm not sure people are going to spend the time on it.
Right.
But a 1-pager gets their interest. Boom.
Well,
Yeah,
what
nice
what
PDF that summarizes for the academic institutions does sound like a good piece to have.
Yeah, and what we've been doing is we send the link to the resources. So we're trying to send them to the platform. And that seems to be working too. We did that with Carnegie Mellon, and they were very happy with that. They said, this is fantastic resources for us. We'll use them. So that's another way to do it, is to use the technology, keep them going with coming on the platform, getting familiar, being comfortable, knowing that they have a place there. So, but we'll put together a page or two. Okay.
Well, thank you all for your time.
I thank you
and
all
interest.
very, very much, and stay tuned.
Thank you,
Talk to
Richard.
you all
I'm going to
soon.
try to connect with you, my friend.
Okay, very good.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Take care, everybody.
Way to go, everybody. Thank
Take care.
you.